3, 2, 1. And we're live. Smashcast number 46.
That's awesome.
Yes. And today we have a very, very special guest in the house.
Yep.
Phil Daru.
Phil Daru.
Not that special, but I appreciate
Man,
it.
you are so special, bro.
bro.
Man, you are.
Oh, yeah.
You're the specialist thing that's happened to us on this cast. So
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad I'm here.
Yes.
Glad. 46, you said, right?
Yeah,
46.
number
So this is 46.
Yes.
today,
Awesome.
Yeah, today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
that's
good number.
episode.
Yeah, it's a good number.
That is a good number.
Yeah.
That is a good number.
I'll take it.
So for the people who don't know you, I kind of did a ChatGPT lookup.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
So this ought to be fun.
See how this goes.
and so it's a ChatGPT intro to let the people know, and then obviously people will get to know you after this, right? Okay, so for today's Smashcast, we're thrilled to welcome a very special guest, Phil Daru. Phil is a world-renowned performance coach and founder of Daru Strong, which you can find at darustrong.com.
Nice.
He's worked with elite athletes across multiple disciplines, including MMA fighters, NFL players, and more, helping them achieve peak physical and mental performance. Phil is known for his innovative and science-backed training methods, as well as his unique approach to building strength, speed, and endurance. It's an honor to have him here today to share his insights and expertise.
Yo, ChatGPT. Not bad.
What do you think about that?
So how accurate? Was that pretty accurate?
I mean, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Generally, it sounds good, man. You know, I'll take it.
Awesome, bro. So why are you out here, man?
Yeah.
So Robeisy Ramirez is a two-time gold medalist, WBO title holder. He lost his title to the individual that he has now. He's actually going to go ahead and rematch.
Awesome.
In
Very cool.
hopefully, in the next couple of months.
Cool.
So I'm here for 2 months straight
Okay.
at Vegas, and I decided to come to the strongest gym in Vegas.
Hey. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the biggest thing for him is staying consistent. So we got him. He lives in Miami with me,
Okay.
but we wanted to get him away from the Miami lifestyle.
Yeah,
Honestly.
for sure.
And we got him up in the mountains. So
Oh, cool.
we're not in Vegas. We're actually in Charleston.
Yeah.
Charleston.
Nice.
And so it's about 7,000 feet above. So we're living high and training low.
That's
pretty much not super high, but it's enough. You know.
I mean, 7,000 is pretty
It's
good.
not nothing.
No.
I mean, that'll definitely.
We went for a hike last night in the mountains, and it was refreshing because we're not deep yet into camp.
Yeah.
So we got about 9.5 weeks.
Okay.
So now we're just trying to get acclimated, get everything situated, making sure that the routine is set, and then next week he actually starts sparring. So it's gonna be
Nice.
Okay, man, that's awesome, man. Well, glad to have you, and glad to have him. So, what are you currently working on right now besides this athlete in your life?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of business now at this point.
Okay.
Most of my business is all online. So we have the app that's launching here on the 15th.
Nice.
So first,
Very cool.
it's called Fight Life app.
Okay.
And basically what I'm doing is all of the programs that I put out in the past 10 years are going to be inside this app.
Nice.
We're also going to be doing skills training too. So there's going to be technique involved. So we got jiu-jitsu, we got Muay Thai, we got boxing, we got wrestling, we got it all there.
Nice.
So not only are you going to get strength and conditioning, you can get skills training too as well. It's one of the missing traits that we needed for the program.
Nice.
And then from there I got launching the supplements again. So relaunching what I had before. My first supplement was called Battle Tested. And primarily the reason why was because as I was cutting weight with these fighters, I got sick of having to piece things together.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? Let's put it all together in
Very
one
cool.
bottle.
Okay.
And so that they can be ready and refuel for the time when the fight comes. So that's been selling pretty well, but we reformulated and now we're going to be doing a pre and a post workout. So that's what I'm really focusing on from that perspective. And then obviously learning and trying to grow as an individual. And I'm a family man. I have 3 kids. The 2 daughters. My daughters are 21 and 18, so I got them over the hump. We're trying to get them out the house.
Yeah, I think so. There you go. Kick them out of the nest.
Yeah, get them out of there. My son is 10 years old, so he gives me a run for my money.
Yep.
He's always trying to compete with me.
As he should.
Yep. It's going to be my goal right now is to train so that he never whoops my ass.
Very good.
You know
I love it.
And jiu-jitsu. I'm in it now more so than before because I'm not on the floor coaching full time, right? I got my guy, and now I'm able to really focus on training and getting things in order that way too as well.
Man, I love it. So, you're going more traditional, right? With gi, or are you focusing on both, or what?
So, I mean, I fought professionally for 8 years and never was able to truly get into gi consistently. You know, there was all the fights and things of that nature. I never really. I never really grasped the fact of why I needed to get in the gi. Now being older, it's like, let's slow it down a little bit.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing for me was being traditional. I want to get in the gi, one, because that's tradition.
Got it.
Two, I believe that, for me at least, it improves my defense in no gi. Now, I could be wrong, but the flow, the movement, you slow everything down in
Interesting.
the gi, right?
Interesting.
In no gi, there's a lot of transitions.
Frantic,
yeah, and you're sweating, you're slipping around.
Slippery
So
days.
now I can, 100%. Me I'm about to be 36 in November,
Wow.
and I tell you right now, man, like, I'm always sore, always sore.
Got it.
I just went and did a ruck march for 51 miles. I ended up doing 51. I tried to do 150.
Whoa!
All in one day?
No, this was in a span. I was trying to get it done in less than 3 days.
Oh, wow.
The 150.
Wow.
And it was for the military. We ended up raising about $10,000.
Oh, wow.
That's very cool.
For a few of the foundations. But the biggest thing was I said I was going to do something, and I went to try to do.
Got it.
And the biggest thing for me was not giving up.
Okay.
Physically, I got put in the hospital. Yeah,
Okay.
so I ended up getting rhabdomyolysis. And
Bro,
when if you go back,
Oh my gosh.
wow.
so I was documenting this, and we did some lives on Instagram too as well, and on YouTube. And so in mile 10, what ended up happening was I stepped in a puddle that was about ankle deep.
Okay.
Right, and this wasn't supposed to happen, obviously. And as soon as that happened, I was like, oh shit, it's over. And like, I knew this is gonna suck from here on out. Now this was mile 10.
Okay.
Right, I got 140 miles to go.
Oh.
So I didn't have a checkpoint until mile 25.
Okay.
So now I'm walking in wet shoes, wet socks,
Bro.
for another 15 miles.
Yep.
Right.
Bro.
And so by the time I got to the 25, I had blisters all over my feet, hot spots in the ball of my foot. So it's big holes, like quarter,
Ouch.
I would say silver dollar size.
Oh my gosh.
Holes, right? So that sucked. It felt like I was walking on broken glass. But that wasn't the big issue. And we wrapped it up. I had my boy was with me. He's an ex-Marine, and he was like, at mile 25, he was like, yeah, it sucks. It's bad, but we can. I've seen worse. And by mile 30, he was like, yeah, it's the worst I've ever seen. So it got worse after 5 miles.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I go, and so
Is that David Goggins?
yeah, yeah, man. So I just, at that point, it was all mental. It was me pushing myself past physical.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for me personally, I'm very mentally tough. Like at that point, I don't boast or brag, but I can push through anything.
Okay.
But it was a point where, at about mile 40, it was like tunnel vision. Everything was kind of closing in.
Okay.
And
Got it.
I ended up having to go to the hospital. One, because I wanted to get my feet checked out.
Sure.
I wanted them to wrap it up appropriately so that it wouldn't get infected.
Yes.
So the biggest thing was, let's get there first.
Yep.
Let's go to the emergency room. Let's get them wrapped up the right way.
Yep.
And then I can keep going, whatever. But then they ran some labs, and they ran the blood work, and they were like, listen, you have rhabdo. Like, if you don't stop, one, you're going to be in kidney failure. And I was already pissing blood at this point.
Wow.
So I'm like, you know what? If I don't stop, then it's going to take me longer to recover, and then I can't go back and do it again.
That's right.
Plus, I have other obligations, right?
Yes.
I have a business. I have athletes I got to train.
Yeah.
So at that point, I made a decision to, all right, let's stop and let's live to fight another day.
Okay.
And so my goal around Memorial Day is I want to go ahead and attack it again.
Oh, no kidding.
And I'm going to start back over from mile 1.
Got it.
I'm not going to go 51 and then I'm going to go 150.
Okay.
Good thing now is that we have an understanding of what's going on, what may happen, because we didn't know.
Yeah.
This is the first time of us doing it.
Yeah.
We had to navigate our own destination.
Yep.
We had to make sure that everything was in place, but you never can fully get ready
until you
for
start
that.
doing it.
Wow. I mean, that just literally, because have you read David Goggins' book? What?
Yeah, yeah.
So like,
I actually like the audiobook.
That's the only way for me to listen, or for me to get any books on his audio. But I listen to the audio, and it's like almost very similar story.
For sure.
You know, I mean, it's just like there's comes a time where it's just like you just walk in. You know, even when everything is failing, like nope, you can keep going. You can keep going. It's like it's inspiring, man.
It's funny because you get to a point where you go, this hurts, right? and And about every 20 seconds, you're like, you should stop.
Yeah.
You should probably stop. But if you just keep one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. Now, I slowed down significantly.
Sure.
Which was an issue too because I had a time frame.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
So that's another problem that was going through my brain was that, okay, I was starting out at like a 5 mile per hour pace. I was booking.
Holy cow.
I was moving.
Okay.
I had 60 pounds on my back, dry. And I was moving. I was feeling good. I was in condition. It wasn't like not in condition.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that my feet started to go.
Yeah.
And then, and I think the pain of my feet caused the breakdown of the muscle.
Oh, for sure.
I ended up at mile 40. I was probably going like, I don't know, 25 minute per mile paces at that point. I'm like at a slug's pace, right? So I'm like, I'm never going to make it. So I had checkpoints where I was walking with Broward Sheriff's Office with the sheriff, who's a good friend of mine. So he walked us through. They gave us, a good, I want to say 2 miles of like blocking off traffic.
Yeah. Wow.
And then West Palm Beach, which is the other county up, I was going to walk with their sheriff. And then St. Lucie County, which was going to be the finish in Fort Pierce.
Yep.
That I had to meet up with them at a certain time because you got to make sure that they're on schedule.
That's right.
And this was July 4th.
Okay.
So I was supposed to finish on July 4th. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be able to make it.
Got it.
So that played a role in my psyche of being like, damn, I'm not going to make it. So I ended up starting to beat myself up on that. Yeah. But I had to push through.
So I guess what's fascinating to me is, sure, if your life depended on it, I'm sure you could have finished. Cool. But you made a decision based on everything else that you're involved with, you're a family man, you're a husband, you're a father, you're a businessman, etc. That it was enough. So walk me through what you learned from it, and how did you know to make that call? How did you know to make that call? Because one person in an alternate universe would take a look at that and say, "Oh, I failed. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it," and then beat themselves up for 6 months at a time. The other person would say maybe what you're going to say. So what did you learn from that?
I just learned that I knew how to push, and I could push harder and longer than I physically could.
Okay.
The goal was to not allow myself mentally to break.
Okay.
So I didn't break mentally. I can honestly and truly say.
Okay, so you made a decision from an active, strategic standpoint rather than backed into a corner. You just gave up because you rolled over.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair. Well, that's
if they
cool.
didn't pull the plug,
if
the doctors didn't pull the plug, I would have kept.
Got it. Okay, that's okay.
That's
Got
amazing,
it,
man.
That's interesting. Wow.
Makes me want to do it. So is that the requirement? Is 60 pounds on your back, or like what's the?
It was just something. It was either going to be 50 to 60, somewhere around there. I just took a weight that I knew that most military operators use, and sometimes it's 100, sometimes it's 30.
Yeah.
It really just depends. But 60 was a good amount that I was training with, and I felt like I could do that strong enough, whatever. But again, there's things that are out of your control.
Sure.
And that was one of them.
Sure.
Nature, just nature.
There you go.
Yeah.
And in Miami, we got crazy weather.
Oh yeah, it's humid too, and oh man.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Being humid, like you're
Brutal.
sweating. I was sweating through everything.
Brutal.
And it's not like I didn't have multiple socks, multiple shoes. I sweat through it all.
Yeah.
And, the problem though, the shoes that I was wearing, that I wanted to finish with, that I wanted to wear the majority of the time, got soaked.
Yeah, they got soaked. Okay.
And they couldn't dry.
Oh my gosh.
But multiple shoes this time, multiple socks, like 20.
Yeah.
20 pairs.
Yep.
On you.
All the time.
Yeah.
And then we'll get we had a RV, but it wasn't big enough. And I had other people coming from out of the state to walk with me. So I had people from Arizona. I had people from, I think it was New York. They were walking with us or rucking with us, and they didn't have any fuel. So I had to give them some of my fuel. Oh. So it was another thing. It's like, all right, we got to get more fuel this time.
Got it.
Wow.
All right, cool.
Well, keep me posted. I'm interested. If anything, I want to walk with you or do it with you. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, so it's definitely gonna be Memorial Day week. So I'm not gonna set a time frame on this one though.
What's that date? I don't know my holiday.
It's in May.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna
late May, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Late May.
Yes. Late May.
Cool.
Late May. I do want to compete in jiu-jitsu in February.
Okay.
So they have the IBJJF Open in Miami.
Okay.
So I want to do that. Maybe Atlanta, and then I'll be able to go.
Okay.
Cool. That's
awesome.
Cool.
You really can't prepare for the ruck.
Yeah.
You just got to be as in shape as possible. Right?
That's
and ruck a lot, but how long is it going to take me to ruck 150 miles?
Yeah.
it's going to take me a few days. So
Yeah.
I can't really train for that amount of volume.
That's
I
right.
have to build
That's
up to that
That's
volume.
right.
And the most that I got up to was 50 miles. But that took me all day.
Bro, that's incredible.
So so just to recap, you did 51 miles in that one day. Like how long? How long did that
I was on
take
my
you?
feet. I was on my feet for 30 hours.
30 hours.
And I was up for 60 hours. So I didn't go through it. So that was another thing. It was
Bro,
nonsense.
it's brutal, man.
That's insane.
I couldn't go to sleep because the problem was I slowed down significantly, and the goal was to get to around 2 a.m. I was going to be at the checkpoint.
Yep.
And then get a little sleep, maybe like 4 hours.
Sure.
Recover, and then meet up with Broward Sheriff's Office at like 7 a.m. at the checkpoint. But I ended up slowing down because of the feet, and I got there at the checkpoint about 4 a.m. So by the time I got there, I couldn't even stand up straight. And I had to like hobble to the hotel room. And by that time, I'm like wrapping up my feet. My guys, my pacers are sleeping, like they're taking a nap. I'm just sitting there like, I don't know.
Oh man.
And by the time I kind of got settled, it was time to get back up. So there was no sleep, and just kept moving.
So I love talking about this because it's like I feel like you have gone and pushed past and gone into another realm that most humans don't go into.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like in the time of struggle, like where does your mind go?
Yeah.
And then how did you manage to calm and push past essentially?
You know, the biggest thing for me is I've been in fights where I thought I was gonna die, literally. So I know I can get there. I know I've pushed past that before, and every time that you do that, you go to that edge.
Got it.
And you get to that level, you know that you can do it again.
Got it.
So it was a common, I guess it was an experience that I'm used to.
Got it.
Okay.
But what's going through my brain is this shit hurts. You know, honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It hurts, but keep moving. Just keep moving. Keep moving. One foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. And at times I needed to be left alone. I needed to be left in solitude.
Yeah.
Where my guys were there, you know, they were pushing me, but it's hard to, for me at least, I want to be by myself at times. Because I want to be in my own head, you know, and I want to push past whatever's going through my brain at that time.
Yeah.
And it's no offense to them. I said, bro, I love you guys, but I need to be left by myself.
No, it's fair.
Yeah.
Because I need to find out who I am.
Have you tended to be more internally motivated rather than externally motivated in life?
That's a good question. I think I am more internally motivated than anything because I don't need anybody.
That's fair.
To get up in the morning and get the job done.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm driven by my why and who I have to do this for, which is my family.
Cool.
So there is that, but I don't need anybody.
Yeah.
Now it's good. Like if I have a coach that holds me accountable, I'm all for it.
Sure.
Because even as I'm a coach,
yes,
you do need a
coach.
coach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right?
100%.
And I think it's more about
Coaches need coaches. Yeah.
And you think as for us,
Yep.
the type of people we are, we need those coaches to pull us back. Right?
Yeah.
And that's
bro.
Yes. Right. So my boy who did my pacing for me, Wyatt Griffith, he works with a bunch of high level guys. He's actually my director of operations. And he was even saying, like, "Oh, listen, stop." He's like, you don't have to prove anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's game day, man. I just got to keep pushing.
Yeah.
And that's it, because nobody else is going to do it for me. And so I needed to do that. And he understood that. But he was going to make the decision, or try to make the decision.
Yeah, gotcha.
Give me the option.
Yeah.
You know?
There you
That's crazy, man. I mean, it's to get. I would love. I don't think I've personally gotten there, and I would like to obviously test it. You know, because it's like I think it's like it's almost like I don't know. It's like it calls for me. It just calls me, right? It's just like how far can you push it?
Yeah.
You know, how far can you push yourself? And there comes a point in time, you know, where it's like, you know, your physical is out the window, you know, and it's like, how far then can I mentally go, you know?
Well,
yeah,
it doesn't take much. You don't need to have some elaborate scheme. You can do it in the weight room. You know, you can do it on the mats. It's just pushing past your physical limitations. And at times you would do that probably once a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You haven't done that, Carlo? Like, I mean, haven't you done that on the mats? Or you just go
probably.
complete ape?
I mean,
you got to.
yeah. I mean, yeah, but I don't know about to to that level. You know,
okay.
of like I haven't slept.
Yeah,
I am battered. I'm bruised.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm even walking right now.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what day or time it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's
okay.
that it's you know it's crazy. It's for me. It's like man, it's literally just insane because it kind of is.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
you gotta be able to.
You do
for sure.
You do. And
I think also doing this. I have a lot of buddies that are special forces operators, and I wanted to make them proud in a sense and appreciate what I was doing. And I know that they've gone through this situation, and I know a couple of my guys. Some of them are SEALs, some of them are Marine Raiders, and they were like, "You're good. You can stop. We don't like doing this either." Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I appreciate that. Yeah. Because I was doing that in some way for them too.
Yeah. Well, you have to. I think like especially for like I think for us it's like we almost do it for others. Like for me, like I get up in the morning to go train my clients kind of thing. So it's like you were doing this for like like I'm doing this for you kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, to put you to put you on essentially. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, you can't only do it for yourself because when the times get rough, it's gonna be like I should probably just rest right here.
Yeah.
But if you have an outside why,
yeah.
and you're doing it for others too as well,
yes,
it's just a higher level of understanding why you need to fit hard.
Do you think that's in part why your SEAL friends, your Marine friends said you're good? Is because they kind of knew that they were part of a why. I mean, whether it was 2%, 10%, whatever, but it was basically a look like. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
like it's like you've done like you're good.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I hope
helped.
that's what it was.
Yeah,
I can't speak for them.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely for me. I can lay I did, and I actually did. And I was like, all right, I can lay my head down in peace, knowing that I pushed beyond physical limitations.
That's fair. I have a question for you. So earlier you said, I've got the business going, I got my kids, I got this and this, I've got my jiu-jitsu coming up and next Memorial Day. So this question's going to come out wrong, so forgive me. What is Phil doing for Phil?
It's tough, man. Like, I live to serve others, and I think that's been a part of my purpose since I can remember.
Okay.
And that's, I think, why I became a coach in the first place.
Yep.
And I've always been a captain of all my teams. I've been a leader naturally. So for me, doing things for myself would be getting in the weight room, maybe training, get on the mats, doing that. That's something for myself.
Okay.
I would say it helps me.
Okay.
But it allows me to be a better coach because of that. Be a better father because of that.
Okay. So you feel like you're, for lack of a better word, I'm using these terms, you feel like your cup is filled enough such that you can give as much as you want to give, because I'm presuming you're very intense when you coach and you give a lot. Is your cup, so who fills your cup, or what fills your cup enough where you can actually give back instead of you going dry too much for too long, where it's just like I have nothing to give anyone?
It's funny because the time I spend with my kids really allows me to enjoy my life as a whole.
Okay.
So as long as I can work hard enough to where I give myself the ability to not have to worry about money, to not have to worry about work, and be fully focused on them at that particular time, it allows me to get that extra fuel to keep moving forward.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I love that, man. You know what I realized right now, in which I hate myself?
Okay, uh-oh.
It's not recording, but we're live here.
Yeah.
It's 46. It's okay.
So 46 on this officially, and then
well, you could probably extract the video or the audio from the YouTube or the IG.
Yes, you're right. I can extract that from that.
Do you guys answer questions?
We do, but we don't always. We don't always.
Do we have any questions on this?
I don't know. Do I push this button to find out?
No.
Nope, not yet. Sometimes people will make comments.
Right here. There's Does Phil agree with abstinence before fights?
Good question.
Like we talked about last time.
Yeah, we talked about sperm and eggs last time.
What did you guys talk about? What did you guys say?
Retention and
well, I do feel that retention is important for us in a sense,
sure.
and it is. I don't know if it's like scientifically, but about testosterone release, or maybe like that urge, that fighting urge is kind of gone once you do release. Like, I mean, like, if you think about it, it's like us as men, when we're done, right? We're just like, cool. We're just kind of like, we're just satisfied and we're done. There's no fight in us anymore. There's no, I don't know,
it's that hunger.
That hunger, right?
There is an increase in progesterone, and you get a dopamine flush. So at that point, if you do it consistently, if you're out to just having at it, getting after it, it can bring down your ability or your want to be aggressive. And if you think about it, like, you release, you're like, oh, chill.
I'm done.
So I could see that being an issue. I would say you don't have to go the full camp. And that's like 8 weeks. But once you get down to like 3 weeks out, you wanna hold everything in.
Yeah. Okay. So about 4 weeks out is a good.
I would say All right. Now, me personally, I wish I would have did that, but I'm afraid.
Okay.
I got 3 kids, man.
I got 3.
Okay.
No,
Exhibits A, B, and C.
For sure, 100%. And I think that with the amount of aggression that you let out in sparring and rolling and things like that, depends on what you're doing, but it's something that you're going to need to refuel yourself, right? And get away from. At times, I'm always like, let's step away from the training world at least 5 weeks out, right? So we usually have a deload at 5 weeks out.
Cool.
Then they can, I would say, not refuel, but like re-engage on that 4 weeks, and then they start to get ready to go.
Got it.
Because the goal is to peak at fight time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And if you peak too early, well, then you got nothing left for the fight.
Right.
So that's why I like the 5 weeks out is kind of where.
Cool.
5 weeks out. Yeah. Okay. And like, so like now that you're getting back into jiu-jitsu and competing in jiu-jitsu, like, would you abstain 5 weeks as well?
This is a binding statement you're about to make.
I don't think my wife would that.
Okay.
Put it like that.
Okay.
Listen, it's for fun.
Yeah.
If I was doing it to, as
to get a check.
To get a check, for sure.
Got
that
it.
would be different. But
Okay,
that's fun.
Yeah,
I'm not going out there trying to be, whatever, Gordon Ryan. So
Yeah.
I'm just having fun with
Yeah.
it. So,
Okay.
I don't know,
So would you say, maybe a day, 2?
I say a week.
I'd say a week.
Okay, week.
One
Okay.
week.
Okay.
One week.
There you go.
Week.
1 week.
There you go.
There's your answer.
There's your answer.
1 week. 1 week minimum.
For fun. Now, if you're getting a check,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
would wait.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 or 5 weeks.
4 or 5 weeks.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can't wait to roll with you. And to train with you, man. You said you were was a 4-stripe purple, right?
Yeah. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
15 years in the game on and off.
Nice.
So looking to get the brown belt soon.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I'm right there with you. I'm a 4-stripe purple as well. I think I've been going at it for 8 years now. So I get it, man. It's a marathon, and I think it doesn't stop there, right? Black belts even say, like, once you get a black belt, that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, what?
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah. They're so complex, right?
Well, I think at purple belt, you've gone through the rigors of like learning, right? And now you start to develop your own game.
That's
you know
cool.
how to string things together. Right? You know how to pass. You know how to get in good position. You know how to get a submission. You know how to good defense.
Yeah.
And you kind of develop your game at that point.
Yep.
Yes.
And at brown belt, you're pretty much a black belt at that point from a skill set perspective.
Yep.
But it's more time now. And it's just about putting more time.
Yeah.
And so I look at brown belts as black belts. I just look at, okay, they need a little bit more time.
Yeah. Just a little bit. There is a thing of mat time, man. Like, just by me, like, let's just say an example for me right now. I help teach the littles on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I get in, and then there's the no-gi 515 class is the same time as the littles. So I used to do the no-gi 515, but Raquel has allowed me to go right after the littles and catch maybe 3 to 5 rounds with guys that just want to go. But just doing that twice a week has significantly increased my mat time, and I do feel almost the difference just by adding those in right there. I mean, that's what 6 to 10 rolls that I haven't been getting in a week. right? So it really does add up.
Volume is
Really,
good.
really does add up, you know?
And it depends on the intensity that you're going.
Yep.
Every day.
Yep.
I'm a big believer now in consistent volume and consistent intensity throughout the day. Because at our age now, it's not about maximal effort and then low effort. It should be medium effort throughout the entire time, throughout the entire week.
Yep.
That way you have more mat time, right? And you can consistently be on the
Got it.
Now you get more overall,
Yeah.
right? But the problem with I would say the undulation of mass effort, light efforts, can be a detriment to your actual growth, right? And I think that for us as older, I would say masters, above what? How old are you now?
33.
33. So you get master.
Oh, master,
right?
yeah.
So like, you're not recovering like you used to at 20, right? And you could do that, but like if you look at even with the Russians, you look at even the Thais, they're consistent, right? There's consistent intensity, but they're always there.
They're always there.
It's
cool.
6-7 days a week. They're not missing time because they're not fatigued or they're not injured. So that's
Man, I think with fighting though, there's a thing called ego. I think that kind of gets in the way, right? Of like, let's say you're trying to go easy, but like, man, like this guy's really pushing you, and it's like, well, it's like not today, you know.
So that's why you want to have good partners, right? And that's why you want to get with a school or with a gym that that they're not in there trying to hurt each other.
Yeah.
The goal is to get better.
Yeah.
Right? You're not competing against your teammates. You're just trying to get better.
Yeah.
You're trying to help improve each other. So that's the biggest thing. And that's why I want to go to hybrid while I'm here.
Oh, cool.
And I want to roll with guys. Like obviously, we're gonna get after it, but there should be a consistent understanding. Like we're all trying to get better.
100%. And it's a fine line, right? Because you can obviously there's people out there that really don't have a meter. Like it's just like it's none or go, right? And then it's like okay, and now it's like anytime you roll with them, it's like okay, I can expect that now, right? But then there's also some people where I've rolled with some really really good black belts, but they go super easy, and they're almost like just playing with you, like cats in
exactly.
yarn. It's like oh my god, this is
awesome.
Ridiculous, So there is a fine line, right? Because you do want to push each other to a point. Because without pushing you, you're not going to get better. Without pushing me, I'm not going to get better. So it's like there has to be this nice dance.
Yeah, Could imagine.
Yeah. So I love it. So when do you plan on going?
Hopefully next week.
Okay, cool.
Just the problem is drive. Out there, out back, and we're here. So these in the boxes on the street.
Okay.
So we'll go back up and come back down. So I'm looking to try to get in a night class at some point.
Nice.
Maybe I'm gonna say that if I can.
Yeah.
I can.
Cool.
I'm here for him, so I don't want to.
Yeah.
But as much as I can.
Okay. So I have a question for you, and if you don't want to talk about it, it's okay. TRT and anabolics and things like that. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Going just on that aspect.
Yeah, so I partnered with Merit Health for about a year now. The big thing for me is like, especially getting older, as a fighter, I was constantly going through weight cuts and beating my body up. And the testosterone get cuts. And so at an older age, depending on your labs and what's going on, I do believe it's important for you to get your test back up to a normal level, right? So if somebody's depleted, let's say in the 200s, 300s, whatever, you want to get that back up to a normal rate just for everyday living, right? For wellness. And you don't want to abuse anything, right? Obviously, you got guys that are eating without whatever.
A day.
So for me, it's more about making sure that you're healthy and longevity is there. So if somebody is on hormone replacement or testosterone replacement to feel better, especially at an older age, 35 plus, 40 plus, I don't see it being an issue. Now, if they're a competitive athlete and they're trying to gain an advantage, and it's a drug testing event, competition, that's a little different. Right? But if you can even the playing field based on, getting back to your natural hormonal levels that you should be at as a male or female, then I don't see it being an issue.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. No, for sure. I mean, we're in the gym industry, man, so we see that all the time. balancing hormones can be such a big change in energy, mood, muscle, fat loss, like everything like that, you know. So that's awesome. You know, I just wanted your thoughts on that.
I think the biggest thing is also recoverability, and being able to train consistently.
Yeah.
You know, at an older age, it's hard to recover.
Yeah.
So, you know, TRT if that helps. You know, any peptides if that helps, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But it has to make sense, right? And you can't be someone trying to gain that absolute advantage over an opponent. You know, if you're going in, especially in combat sports, right? Because the physics hurts.
Oh yeah.
Baseball, we're good.
Yeah, like we're there to be entertained.
Yeah.
Well, it's the abuse, I think, of it that really ruins it for everyone else. Honestly, you know, when someone doesn't even know, like when someone is taking like a gram a day, and it's like, why? There's no, I think there's no need for it unless the space requires it, which some sports actually require that amount in a sense, which people don't know and don't like to talk about. But it is what it is, man. You know, they can't be like, oh, I want to look like this guy and train like this guy, but they don't know what's behind the scenes, and, you know. So it's like, you know, I think as coaches we do have to be, you know, we have to give them, you know, real life expectations and things like that. So yeah,
I think it's, and it depends on what sport you're in. Like bodybuilding, and especially you trying to get on, you know, the bigger stages, you know, it's almost mandatory because look how big these guys are.
Yeah,
literally
non-drug tested. So I'm not saying it's healthy long term, right? You're putting yourself at risk, cardiovascular disease and high blood pressure and everything else, heart issues entirely. But that's the sport that they chose, and if it's a part of the sport, and if you're trying to be the best at it, you know, they live at that moment. You know, I don't necessarily agree based on longevity, based on health overall. But I do believe that, you know, if you're trying to be the best, you take some sacrifices. But like as we did when, you know, for me, fighting it, punch, kick in the face. You know what I mean? Like, that's not healthy, but it was something that we wanted to do. It's a choice.
So I kind of want to wrap it up with just the story, like your personal story of like, you know, how you grew up and how did you even end up here, you know, as the pusher you are now, you know, and all that.
There's a lot. I mean, the biggest thing is like I've always done some type of sport, some type of martial arts since I was 4 years old.
Okay.
Always loved training, always loved pushing myself. You know, my mother instilled that in me, then my grandfather instilled it in me. He was actually the first person to sneak me into a Gold's Gym, like 13 years old.
That's so awesome.
And he was like, I think, so he ended up having a heart attack, and then he started later in his life. So he started around 68 years old.
Oh, really?
And by 72, like he was benching like 275 for reps.
Bro,
he was in the Gold's
that's
Gym.
Amazing.
Yeah, with the gloves, with the fingers cut off.
Yeah.
Fanny pack, you know. He was
I love it.
And I was like, and so my mother was strong. She was one of the first firefighter paramedics for Broward County. And I remember helping her get ready for you know, the trial and everything. And I was like 4 or 5 years old. But my family has always been very active. And so I think that was one of those things. And then from there, once I got to high school, it was just like, I ran some of the programming for my high school football team. I was deep into like Louis stuff. I was deep into Franco stuff for a long time. Actually called up Westside back when I was like 16. Louis answered the phone. Yeah, it was wild.
That's awesome.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool.
So yeah, just developed that, and then ever since then, I've just been, you know, wanting to always get better and wanting to be stronger, be more powerful, be in good condition. Obviously, you want to look for it too as well. So, you know, you're doing some hypertrophy work and then everything. And then from, you know, after football ended, played for Alabama State University. And at that point, I was like, you know what, I still got to compete. Still want to do something. And I was boxing on the off season. So I was going to originally go into boxing.
Okay.
But the gym was just so far. I had no money. And then ended up having an American Top Team affiliate gym owned by Dean Thomas. And Dean basically took me in at 20 years old and was like, listen, you know, I was about 205 pounds. I'm actually the same weight as I was. He's like, you're going to have to fight at 155 pounds. And I was like, and I haven't been 155 since middle school.
Bro.
I'm like, man, this is crazy. What I got down there. And then he's like, you know, I always was infatuated with getting people, helping people out.
Yeah, interesting.
So I ended up getting my certification and started training people, became a 22.
All right, man. He's inspiring, bro. But do you have any questions for us?
So first of all, how do you guys
So Dog is actually my client.
Yeah, former client. I walked in here in December of 2021 after I moved to Seattle, been all over the place. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I walked in here, I said, whatever. He found me intriguing, and I've got quite a backstory for another time.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I'll train you. I'm like, awesome. I want 3 times a week. I'll take care of the food. I know what I'm doing there, but just I need to train. Switched to 4 times a week. A couple of weeks later, we trained together for maybe a year and a half-ish. Then I went on my own, and now I'm actually a trainer here, part owner. So it's yeah. And so we we complement each other well. Like a lot of his skills, I have none. Like spatial skills, especially, I have none at all. I have a lot of the analytical number skills that he's good at comprehending. He's very good at getting people in a room, like matching people with this skill and that kind of need and all that stuff. So it seems to work.
It's a good guy.
It seems to work.
That makes sense. So you're the analytical type?
Yeah.
And
100%.
okay. And for you, what would you say that is your biggest skill set?
I think it's just people in general. Like I think it's just like it's being able to communicate with people and getting to know people on a deeper level, and community building. You know.
Let me ask you this: are you the visionary type?
Yes.
And you're more the operator.
Yes, exactly. I'm the executioner, and he's kind of the visionary. But one time, if you focus him and say, "Hey, go do that," he'll just like a juggernaut. He'll go.
Sure.
But I'm the one that basically says, "Okay, let's take a look at how we can accomplish X or Y or Z," and basically I give the advice like, I don't know about this, that, the other thing.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely strategic, spatial, heavy index on the emotional and relationships. I have some index there, but yeah, we're fairly complementary in terms of
That's a
brain
good
styles.
mix. You want to have that with the partnership. That's one thing, and I've seen a lot of partnerships go bad because there's two visionaries.
Yeah,
two
that just
operators.
never works.
Never works.
Never works.
A good book that I read was Rocket.
Haven't.
Check that one out.
Okay.
It talks about visionaries and it talks about operators.
Yeah,
And you need the two in a business for it to to scale up.
Visionary and an operator.
Yeah, he thinks outside the box big time. I'm a maximizer within the box.
Yep. That's
So
perfect.
that's
it. You're
that's
the
why I
day-to-day
think
process.
Yeah, that's the way that it works.
I like that.
Yeah.
You're a big vision.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I tell him things are gonna be okay, and he's like, I don't know if they're gonna be okay right now. And I'm like, don't worry, things will be all right. And then
Biggest thing with visionaries is that they like to solve the bigger problems.
Yeah.
They like those big.
Yes,
Oh,
the
we
big-
might
exactly.
lose everything. Type
Right.
problems.
Exactly.
The operator is really good at handling the smaller.
Yeah.
problems.
That's it.
He's constant.
Yeah.
So,
That's the rough.
yeah, so actually, Dog came in and he does like the surveys of the gym. So like he's all analytical and logistics. So we'll run a survey. So we ran a survey, and the people said the gym was cluttered. And he's like, no problem. So he decluttered the whole gym. He took pictures of certain things, and like he noticed people's trends.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he just got busy.
Got it.
And the gym is now decluttered because of Dog. So it's like things like that. You know, and this partnership has been recent.
It's been about a year and a couple of months.
Oh wow.
Let's see. Last June, I would say, is when it kind of really started.
Yeah.
When did you feel like you needed?
So
Well, let's say, for instance, bringing him in as a partner.
yeah, so I was actually going through partner transitions. I had lost a partner because of bad business, and then I was losing another partner just because he wanted out. And so it was like I was training him, but I always came to him for advice or just for an ear, because I knew his brain. And so it was someone different that I can come to that can give me I don't know, how do you say that, some like advice that wasn't like judgmental or just kind of gave me straight to it.
Based off of analytics.
Yeah.
Based off of numbers and based off of you seeing everything.
Yeah, fairly objective. Objective and somewhat dispassionate too. I mean, I'm kind of a different beast, and so I think what helped is you can come to a lot of people for certain things, but like I know my space. I know what I'm good at, and I know a lot of things I'm bad at. So I'll tell them like, hey, this is a biased answer I'm giving you. Like I'll tell them why my bias is, or I'll tell you like, look, objectively, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
Or I'll also talk to him as a business owner, or I'll talk to him as a trainer, or talk to him as like a father. So I'm very clear that although I'm speaking with the same individual, I try to say this is what the trainer should do, or this is what the business owner should do, and I can I just kind of separate myself to make sure that I give that person bias. And I'll tell them if like I don't know, no idea, or if I'm biased, I'll tell them that bias.
Yeah. And he straight up came and was like, listen, like, I'm not here to be number one. I am best at number two.
I'm not number one. I am absolutely the Gene Hackman of the group. Like
I am best at number two.
Not number two.
Yeah.
I am not number.
So I think the biggest attribute somebody can have is having self-awareness and knowing what their strengths are and their weaknesses.
Yeah.
And being cool enough to say, listen, I don't know that.
Yeah.
I'm not the greatest at that. I'm better here.
Yeah.
But most people have an ego.
Yeah.
They want to be, I'm good at everything.
Yeah.
And they're really not.
No.
And it ends up causing havoc in the workforce.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, especially within partners, that's so difficult, right? So, so I gave him the idea or I don't know how it happened.
I don't know. He's the visionary. He came up with the idea, and I had to sleep on it for a little while because I can't. He'll come up with something. I'm like, I can't react to you right now. I need to sleep overnight, and I'll think about it. But no, I just kind of slipped in. Like I was thinking, I would never have thought coming into December that I'd become a trainer here, let alone make as much transformation I've made, let alone become a partner of some kind. Like I never would have figured.
Did you work in corporate?
Yeah. Or
usually a lot.
Amazon, Pfizer, Farmers Insurance, Delta Airlines. Like no, it's finished. So as long as I can, I hope I'm done with it.
So a quick fan. It says from Xavier.
Xavier. Yeah.
Phil Daru, I absolutely love your content. Big fan. Shout out to Carlo and Dog. Love you guys.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because of this new partnership, though, I think we're going to a better direction. We have had other partners come in because of the last partner separation, which has helped put in more minds into the pie, to give more ideas to spread out, tasks and duties and things like that. But it's been awesome. Yeah.
Well, it seems like you guys got good. And the gym is a lot. That's why I'm here. I think that, especially with the cohesiveness, the way you guys have that chemistry together, it's going to thrive. So make sure, if you guys haven't checked it out, come on over here. When you're in Vegas, make sure.
When you're in Vegas,
yes. Appreciate you guys. Cool. Well, let's wrap it up there, man. I appreciate your time.
Seriously, awesome.
Thank you, brother. Hopefully, you guys can hear the audio on that. My apologies. I forgot to put the SD card back in.
Is that what it was?
Problem.
We will extract the audio somehow and do it.
We'll extract it, make it better, blah, blah, blah. But thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks,
and catch you guys next week.
Right.
Peace.